Hey, what's good, Mzansi? Thanks so much again for joining me in a moment in tech with V. And I've got a very special guest today, super senior. So I can't wait to find out what insights he has for the rest of us, youngins. Again, guys, just some quick house rules. This is a pure professional space, an educational space for those who don't really understand what's going on in the job market. And what a cool place to be with Remy today. Hi, Remy. Where in the country are you, dude?
Somerset West, Western Cape.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. So you're in my areas. We're actually experiencing some decent weather today, right? How awesome.
And load shedding, yeah.
Welcome to SA, right? What can we do? Cool. So, guys, Remy is a Flutter architect, so you know that's the real stuff. And he'll be sharing some insights with us. So, yeah, let's just start off with some easy stuff. So, Remy, if I had to, meet you at a corporate function sometime, what kind of alcoholic beverage am I buying you?
Brandy.
Brandy. Is brandy and Coke?
No, please no. The brandy has to at least be 5 years old as well.
Okay, cool. So, guys, if you see this space out in the corporate function, please get him a brandy that's more than 5 years old. Thank you so much, Remy, for joining us. I mean, did you always know that you're going to, be a developer, or how did you kind of get into the space?
No, that was actually more along the lines of dumb luck, actually.
Wow.
I've always been in IT, but I always expected myself I'd end up in like hardware, fixing computers, maybe even running like a computer shop or something like that.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was actually working for some IT company,
Okay.
and another company approached him for web development. As a teen, I always had the experience with the CMSs, playing around, doing some freelance work and stuff like that.
Nice.
And he wasn't interested in the position, so he put my name forward to the company.
Nice.
And I had no idea if I'd be good at it. I had no idea if I'd enjoy it or anything.
Cool.
My then soon to be boss and I had a chat, and 2 days later I had a new job, and 11 years later, 12 years later, I'm still enjoying it. And I've apparently gotten a lot better at it too.
Apparently. I mean, it's quite interesting to see that. You have like kind of pushed yourself in without a degree. I mean, what is your kind of view on kind of being a technical person in the space? Is a degree really necessary to kind of be at the level that you're at today?
Well, it wasn't for me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly wrong with studying, but I think we've gotten to a point in society where it no longer has the value that it used to have. It used to be this essential thing that you needed to get into a career. But with development being, there's a lot of technical, but there's also a lot of creativity. It's a lot about how you think and how you put things together, how you solve problems, which a lot of the groundwork for that can actually just come out of life as opposed to education. So
Nice.
There are definitely parts of the IT industry where it's more valuable. Front end development, UI, that sort of thing.
Okay.
There's not really much you're going to learn in a tertiary setting that's actually going to prepare you for what we do, because
Real life.
this is an ever changing industry. So when I last spoke to varsity students doing their little IT courses, they had a web development section, and what they were studying at that time was already 10 years old.
Jeez.
Like they were showing me their project, and I didn't know what this thing was because I'd never worked on something that old.
Yeah.
So like I think passion, commitment, drive,
Nice.
in many areas of the IT sector are probably going to be more valuable for most.
Nice.
There are places like, I think it's We Think Code.
Oh yeah.
Is the name, that does like a specific code teaching and in the instructions that would be relevant in today's job market. I actually worked with a data analyst that came to our company through We Think Code. So that's definitely a good option for someone that wants a bit more structured foundation. Not everybody can teach themselves. It's not something, it's not a skill that everybody has, and it probably is a somewhat valuable skill in development, but it's a skill that can also be learned.
Nice.
you know.
That's awesome. So guys, you see, as Remy said, it's not necessarily about the degree, but actually kind of going to the organizations who have these structures. So we think code, girls that code, geek culture, I know as well, they do these things. So reach out to the specific societies and just kind of immerse yourself in the space. So Remy, you're a Flutter architect. Let's talk. There's only like one of you in this country, just by which is really unfair. So, I mean, you came up the JavaScript route, and then you kind of put it all together with, sort of the mobile. What is a Flutter architect? Like, let's put it in layman's terms for those that don't know what the hell you do.
Honestly, I'm not even sure that really is an actual job title.
Okay.
Especially, there's a lot of time based attached to everything. So I ended up in a discussion online with a couple of people saying they're looking for senior Flutter developers. I'm like, but what is a senior Flutter developer?
Yeah.
It's like the technology's really it's been around for a few years, but it's only really been focused on for about, say, 2-3 years, where people are really starting to get into it.
Yeah.
So how can someone really classify them as a senior Flutter developer? And I said, I'd rather, and this is how I describe myself, is a senior developer with Flutter experience, or I suppose in this case, an architect with Flutter experience. And that's got to do that's more to do with the level of understanding, where you have the ability to sit back and plan 6 months to a year in advance for a project. Think about the big picture, while also being able to maintain the awareness of the small things. You have to be able to do the 30,000 foot view as well as the 6-foot view, which I'm not entirely sure that can actually be taught. I have no idea where I got that skill from. I apparently have it.
Well done. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Okay, so I mean, let's see how it goes. But I mean, if we had to put you in a time capsule, would you change the kind of career that you're currently in? I mean, if we kind of put you like 18 years back, would you have completely gone somewhere else and done something else?
No, I really enjoy this. Like, I think I'm one of those lucky people that actually gets paid to do what they love. I really enjoy my job. I get bored not having work to do, which is weird. I've got this weird notion of I like to actually earn the money that I get paid.
Nice. Well, you know what? At least you're up there. You're up there with the rest of us, which is awesome. No, that's cool. So you'd remain in the space for sure. So top 3 tools that you think, maybe somebody who's sitting at home, kind of lost in, sending, lots of CVs and getting rejected. But what should they be upskilling on? What are the top 3 tools that you can perhaps name?
I suppose that's more of an individual choice. I've got my specific tooling that I enjoy, but the tools don't necessarily help with something like looking for a job. One thing you want to focus on is, especially if you don't have a degree, in some companies it can be a hindrance. You want to look at that portfolio. You want to create your GitHub portfolio. You want to work on some projects, maybe solve some problems. I see a lot of projects where people go and clone Spotify and they clone WhatsApp and they rebuild all of those tools. And those are fantastic things to actually showcase, to set yourself apart from other people. Like, every developer really picks their own tools. There's very, very few companies prescribe what tools that you should actually use. I guess in certain, when you get to things like business analysts and stuff like that, there's only a handful of tools that you can actually choose from. And the company's probably going to prescribe that because it costs money. So you don't have much choice in that matter, and you're probably not going to be able to upskill up on it too much. But if you've got the foundation, if you've got the understanding, the tool is merely a means to actually achieve the result.
Okay. But I mean, I would definitely not say to someone to go out and go learn Delphi. So what's
probably not.
Like,
I think when it comes to technologies and frameworks, the very popular ones right now are, from the front end, you can look at Vue, you can look at React. Flutter is coming up quite a bit. React Native is still quite popular. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
But if you're looking at the back end, you're probably never going to go wrong knowing Node.js. It's used very widely. MongoDB for a database. MySQL and Postgres are your 2 other big options. Everything really just picks up from there. So it depends on what direction you want to go. and then Golang is a very up and
Yeah,
coming backend framework. I hear a lot of companies complaining they can't find developers, and
for
then they
sure.
say that they want them to work in an office, and I'm like, well, that's why.
Hey, work from home guy, he's the work from home guy, that's for sure. But I mean that could be quite difficult for a graduate working from home. Do you think? I mean, what happens to the vibrance of being able to kind of get to a senior developer quickly and say, hey, dude, kind of help me with this, or what's kind of your take?
That's really where company culture can come into play, and also the team culture.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, I was working at a previous company. My team grew from 2 to 12 during
Jeez.
the pandemic.
Nice.
And some of them were juniors. One of them actually still works with me. When the project got cancelled,
Yeah.
he wanted to stick with Flutter, so did I. We both moved to the same company.
Yeah.
And there are multitudes of online tools that can keep us connected. When we first started with the pandemic, when the office was first shut down, to
Yeah,
help out with that sort of background noise thing for us,
for sure.
we set up Discord channels, and we just sat on there. We were connected for like a couple hours a day, just we can have the ad hoc conversations.
Okay.
Slack has huddles, which is great. We hop into a huddle.
Yeah.
So it's also about you, and that's the one thing that I find junior developers have a tendency to have in common is they either think they know everything and they don't want to ask questions, or they're too scared to ask questions. And there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Yes.
Your more experienced developers, they're going to respect you asking the question rather than wasting 3 days trying to solve the problem yourself and not getting anywhere. They're also very much going to respect that effort. So it's not about, say, for example, reading your task on Jira and going, I have no idea what's going on. I don't understand. I can't figure this out. Run straight to the nearest developer.
Yeah.
If you need explanation on the actual task and what needs to be done, definitely ask. But, it shows a lot of character putting in some effort at least before throwing in the towel and calling in for work and calling in support. So it really is a balance, but you must never be afraid to ask questions. And your good senior developers, your good leaders, they're going to be there to help you. They will rather stop working and help make you better than actually shoo you away.
That's cool. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit tough for the guys who are sitting at home. They don't have teams to kind of reach out to. Who do these guys reach out to? Maybe they have a little bit of a creative block, so to speak. But Stack Overflow.
There are lots of online communities, and we've got a fantastic, massive online community. Last I checked, there were about over 12,000 developers sitting there.
Nice.
Called ZA Tech, and even I've gone there to ask for help. I've answered questions. I ended up in my current job that I'm working at now. I got because of my discussions in the Flutter channel. My boss spotted me and they contacted me. So like being active in a community, writing blog posts, posting useful things on Twitter and LinkedIn and that sort of stuff, that can give you the exposure to actually find jobs, because companies are wising up to different ways to actually find people. I've been contacted through GitHub. I got a previous job back in 2018 because of a blog post I wrote.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
They spotted the blog post, they put a comment on there, and 3 months later they asked me if I wanted to work for them, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is a strange world, but anyway.
That's good.
That's how things roll. And as developers, we've got to find ways to make ourselves stand out, make ourselves better than the competition, because especially in some of the disciplines, there's a lot of competition.
For sure. And just before I let you go, what are some of your hobbies?
I do a lot of mountain biking. I spend a lot of time at F45. I've got a 3D printer, so I play around with printing random junk and even designing some tools. But also even on weekends, I enjoy developing. I might actually just solve a problem that doesn't exist.
That's cool. And guys, this is Remy. Thank you so much for your time, and he's shared some really awesome insights. And let's hope we change one life at a time. Thank you so much for your time.
Always a pleasure. Cheers.
Have a good day. Thanks, man. Cheers. Bye.